Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're heading down to Brazil to check out Expominério 2024. It just wrapped up.
It did.
Yeah, in Cuiabá, Mato Grosso. And
November 7th through the 9th.
Right. And we've got a whole bunch of sources to sort of get to the bottom of this. We've got the event website. We've got some news articles and even a few direct quotes from some of the folks that were there.
Nice.
So I think we can really get a good picture of what happened.
Yeah, I think so.
So, it's interesting because this isn't just some kind of industry event.
Yeah.
This seems like it's
That's
really,
deal.
a window into some major shift.
Yeah, I think so.
So, buckle up, everybody.
Big changes.
We're going to uncover the key trends that are shaping the future of mining, not just in Brazil, but potentially even globally.
I think that's a great way to put it. It really is kind of a bellwether for what's happening in the industry as a whole. One thing that really struck me is just how quickly this event has grown.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
It debuted just last year in 2023. And, it was kind of a smaller gathering, kind of a regional thing. But this year,
it blew up.
Yeah. Over 5,000 attendees, completely sold out its exhibition space.
Yeah, I saw that. And it's not just the numbers, right? The organizers, they have really ambitious goals.
They do.
For this thing. I was poking around on the event website and they're saying they want to make this thing like
the Expo Agro.
Yeah, like the Expo Agro for mining, as influential for mining as Expo Agro is for agribusiness.
That's a pretty bold statement. Expo Agro is huge in Brazil.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
The event for agriculture in Brazil. So to even draw that parallel, I think it says a lot about their ambitions.
Yeah, they're putting a stake in the ground.
Yeah, they're saying, look, we're here, we're serious.
Yeah, and Mato Grosso is...
Key player?
Yeah, they're a key player. They want to be on the global stage. But is Mato Grosso really ready for that?
Well, that's the question. But if you look at the facts, they've got a pretty compelling case. They're already the 6th largest mineral producer in Brazil.
Really?
Yeah, generating almost $7 billion in 2023 alone.
Wow.
And get this, only 3% of their mineral potential is currently being explored.
Wait, hold on. 3%. So they're sitting on a...
Yeah, imagine what that other 97% could be.
That's mind-boggling. And it's not just gold, is it?
No, that's the thing. A lot of people, when they think of Mato Grosso, they think of gold.
Yeah.
But they've obviously got this incredibly diverse range of mineral resources.
Yeah, it's like a whole buffet.
It is. We're talking limestone, manganese, mineral water, tin, diamonds, aggregates, the stuff that goes into construction.
Or sand and gravel.
Yeah, sand and gravel. And even zinc. The list goes on and on. And that really, I think, that changes the game. Because it means they're not just reliant on one commodity.
Yeah, they're diversified.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just come for the gold. It's
come for the gold, stay for the...
everything else.
Exactly. Everything else. And, it's not just about the minerals themselves. It's also about the people who are doing the mining.
Yeah. What about the small-scale miners?
Right. So small-scale miners, they actually make up a huge percentage of the workforce in Mato Grosso. Something like 85%.
Really?
Yeah. They're really the backbone of the industry.
But I imagine, operating on a small scale, they've got to face some unique challenges, right?
Absolutely. Things like management, planning.
Yeah.
Those can be difficult for a smaller operation. And then, accessing those international markets.
Right.
Be a whole other hurdle. And unfortunately, those obstacles are preventing a lot of these small-scale miners from really growing.
Yeah.
And realizing their full potential.
Which is where I think I was reading about Cuiabá.
Yes. Cuiabá now. They are the largest mining cooperative in Brazil.
Wow.
With 7,000 members. And they produce, get this, 4% of the country's gold.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're really a success story.
Yeah.
And a great example of what small-scale miners can achieve.
When they have the right kind of support.
Yeah, exactly. And, it was interesting to see that Expominério, they seem to be making a real effort to support these smaller players. They had panels, workshops, resources.
Specifically for them.
Specifically tailored for the needs of small-scale miners.
That's great.
Empowering them to thrive. Not just to survive, but to really thrive in this global marketplace.
That's awesome. And speaking of the global marketplace, we also have this big player,
yes,
Nexa Resources.
Right, Nexa. Yeah. Their arrival is a really, really interesting development.
It is.
Because, they're a major zinc producer. And they've decided to invest a lot of money in a new mine in Mato Grosso.
Yeah, I think it was $632 million.
$632 million, which is something like our $3.5 billion.
Yeah.
Some serious investment, a big vote of confidence in Mato Grosso's potential.
Yeah. And what I thought was interesting, like, it's not just the money, it's that they're making a big deal about
social responsibility.
Yeah. Investing in local infrastructure, education, healthcare.
Yeah, they're trying to, really demonstrate that they're not just there to extract resources.
Right.
But they're there to actually contribute to the community.
Yeah, create some shared value.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which, I gotta say, is not something you see every day from a mining company.
No, it's not. And, I think it really does add a layer of complexity to the story, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not as simple as just saying, oh, big corporation comes in, exploits resources.
Right.
It's a more nuanced picture.
Yeah.
It raises all these questions about, like, what does responsible mining look like?
Right.
What is their role in sustainable development?
Yeah. And it also makes me think about, the whole legal and regulatory landscape around mining in Brazil. Because if you're going to have these big investments, you got to have the legal framework to support it.
Absolutely. And that's something that Expominério really delved into as well.
Oh, good.
They had a number of panels specifically focused on navigating, the complexities of Brazilian mining law.
Yeah, because I bet it's not easy.
No, it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
They were talking about everything from legal frameworks and taxation to, the potential for criminal liability.
Wow, really getting down into the weeds.
Yeah, they were really trying to, I think, provide some clarity and guidance to these companies.
Yeah, demystify it.
Yeah, demystify it.
So what kind of specific challenges are we talking about here? Like, what makes it so tricky?
What that I thought was really interesting is this whole question of environmental taxes.
Oh, right.
So there have been a few recent Supreme Court rulings that could potentially increase costs for miners.
Really?
Yeah, and that's causing, a lot of anxiety in the industry because it creates a whole new set of financial burdens and uncertainty.
Wow, yeah. It sounds like a minefield, really.
It is. It's a constantly evolving landscape.
Yeah.
It's not static.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Expominério, I think, provided a really valuable platform for experts to come together and try to help the industry make sense of all these new challenges.
Right. Because you're right, the legal landscape is just as important as, what's in the ground.
Yeah, you can have all the gold in the world, but if you can't get it out of the ground legally and responsibly,
That's worthless.
Exactly.
But speaking of the ground, from what I've been reading, it seems like environmental sustainability wasn't just some kind of like
a buzzword.
Yeah, like a buzzword, right? Like they were actually...
I know it was front and center.
Yeah, it was woven into the discussions.
Yeah, it was a key theme throughout the event. And it was interesting. It went beyond just the sort of, general statements about responsibility and platitudes. They were really focused on...
solutions.
Yeah, tangible solutions and technological advancements. Like, for example, they had presentations on these new technologies for mercury decontamination and land remediation.
So they're not just talking the talk, they're
walking the walk.
Yeah, they're coming up with ways to...
put it into practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's not just the industry that's pushing for this. The government is actually developing a whole new state mining policy that prioritizes sustainable growth and responsible exploration.
So it seems like everyone is kind of on the same page.
They're getting there.
Yeah, trying to get ahead of the curve.
Yeah, because I think there's a growing awareness.
For sure.
That, we can't just mine without thinking about the consequences.
Right. But let's be honest, like at the end of the day, there's always going to be that tension between economic development and environmental protection. Like, how do you balance those two things?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And that's actually something that we'll delve into a little bit more in the next part for a deep dive.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tension between,
right,
economic growth and environmental responsibility.
Yeah, how do you...
And what?
Yeah, how do you make those two things work together?
Right. And it's not just a Mato Grosso thing. It's a global thing.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a conversation that's happening everywhere. So it was really interesting to see how they tackled it at Expominério.
Yeah, did they actually get into the nitty-gritty? Or was it just kind of like,
Oh, they got into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
They had a number of panels that really dug deep into this issue, talking about things like environmental licensing, conflict resolution, even the impact of those recent Supreme Court rulings that we talked about on environmental regulations.
So, like, real-world stuff that miners are actually dealing with.
Yeah, practical advice, case studies. Well, they were showcasing all these incredible new technologies at Expominério
Okay.
that are aimed at minimizing the environmental impact.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, things like mercury decontamination solutions, land remediation techniques. They were even talking about using remineralizers in agriculture to improve soil health.
Wait, remineralizers, what are those?
So basically, they're like mineral-rich materials that you add back into the soil to replenish depleted nutrients. So it helps to kind of restore the land after mining and promote sustainable agriculture.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So they're really trying to think about the long-term impacts and not just like, dig it up and leave.
No, they're trying to leave the land better than they found it.
Right. Which is, that's encouraging.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we've talked about the tension between economic growth and environmental protection, and it sounds like the industry is really making an effort to, kind of address that through innovation, through community engagement. What other big themes kind of jumped out from our deep dive into Expominério?
Well, one that came up again and again was this need to attract foreign investment.
Makes sense. You're going to need a lot of money if you want to develop all these resources.
Exactly. So Brazil, and specifically Mato Grosso, they're really trying to position themselves as an attractive destination.
Okay. So how are they trying to woo these investors?
Well, for one thing, they're emphasizing the stability and predictability of the legal and regulatory environment.
Right.
They're trying to assure investors that their investments will be protected.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Otherwise, nobody's going to want to risk their money.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the focus on infrastructure development.
Right. Roads, railways, ports, all that stuff.
Yeah, all the things that make it easier and cheaper to actually transport the mine materials. And they're also highlighting the skilled workforce in Mato Grosso.
So it's kind of a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah, they're really trying to hit all the key points.
But I imagine there are some concerns, right? Like, what were some of the things that experts were worried about?
Yeah, some experts did express concern about, ongoing issues with corruption and bureaucracy.
Yeah, that's never good for business.
No, it can definitely deter investors who are looking for, transparency and efficiency.
And what about making sure that the benefits of mining are actually distributed equitably?
Yeah, that was a big topic as well. There was a real emphasis on the need for policies that ensure that, the wealth generated by mining actually benefits everyone, not just the companies.
Right.
But the local communities, the country as a whole.
Yeah, a rising tide lifts all boats, as they say.
Exactly. And that means investing in education, healthcare, infrastructure.
Creating a more sustainable and inclusive model.
Precisely.
But, none of that's going to happen if the public isn't on board.
That's right. People need to understand what's at stake.
Yeah.
They need to be informed. They need to be engaged. They need to hold their leaders accountable.
So it sounds...
I think this brings up a really important point, which is that ultimately the future of mining, it's not just up to governments and corporations.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, it's about all of us, right?
Okay, what do you mean?
Mining, it's not just this abstract concept that's happening somewhere else.
Right.
It's actually woven into the fabric of our daily lives.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, look around you right now. How many things in your office are made from mined materials?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, my phone, my computer, the desk, the microphone, the
wires that...
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And it's not just the obvious stuff. It's the cars we drive, the buildings we live in, even the renewable energy technologies that we're all, depending on to combat climate change, like solar panels, wind turbines, all of that stuff requires mined materials.
So we're all connected to this industry, whether we realize it or not.
We are.
Yeah.
And that means we have a responsibility to make sure...
Brings us to something that I was really struck by throughout our Expominério deep dive, which is the power of storytelling.
Storytelling.
Yeah, because, for so long, mining has been associated with, these negative images. Environmental destruction, exploitation.
Right, it's got a bad rap.
How do we change that?
I think we need to start telling new stories about mining. Stories that highlight the positive impacts, the jobs that are created, the communities that are supported, the essential role that mining plays in building a modern society.
Yeah, tell the good story.
Exactly. Celebrate the innovations, the people who are working to make a difference.
So it's about reframing the narrative.
Yeah, changing the perception.
Showing the world that mining can actually be a force for good.
Absolutely. A force for technological advancement, economic growth, a more sustainable future.
That's a powerful vision.
It is. It's a vision worth fighting for.
I think so too. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I learned a lot, and I hope our listeners have too.
Me too.
So to wrap things up, I just want to leave everyone with this thought. The future of mining, it's not preordained. It's something that we're all actively shaping through our choices, through our actions, through our voices.
It's selective effort.
It is. So let's make sure